Um, you can have all sources of chocolatey on their website. Basically for the clueless user, you can kind of get the list of applications. So, but the nicety of chocolatey is then you as an administrator doesn't have to go download Chrome, Firefox, or anything else. It basically just uses PowerShell to go do that. And this will populate a list of applications, but because a lot of like you could have the OS, super hardened, but hey, if Chrome has got a vulnerability, then it'll come by and say, hey, it'll mark here with an update wanted, which is often good, but like if users don't, or if you're fully managing the application to where the users don't have the rights to update it, then how else do you update it? So yeah, you could use this to also automate their virtual terminal and the applications that they get access to, and whether update them or not. WinGet right now is a bit slower, but it's Microsoft's own. But there's a lot of other applications. Like here's like the ID of the application. That's basically the name of the application. If you want to deploy it in an automated fashion, uh, you know, Slack if you're using Slack or Zoom. Golang.go for the Go programming language if you need that for your developers. Um, can pretty much automate the whole lot of stuff. I'm not into DevOps, but too much. But I'm familiar with the other stuff being there. Uh, but for just automating system deployments and making it as brain dead easy as possible, like NT Lite is about as light as it gets. And then you can pretty much hook a few post deployment scripts to make sure that the PW Shell 7 is deployed, like the newest version of the PowerShell is deployed, or that the Windows updates automatically download and deploy. Realistically, whether the system joins like SSCM or Intune, you can also do via the post deployment script method. Then you can basically have the Intune and whatever else deploy that. Um,
Right, but this is useful, but not on the test.
yeah, I'm just saying in practice, it's basically the best practices type of stuff. It may not be on the test, but it's like, since you asked, I figured I'd cover that rabbit hole. It's like, because that's basically, what they're doing. But, thankfully for you, it won't be on the test, but who knows? Similar stuff might find its way on the test for your unluckier friends who don't have their CISSP in the coming years, especially with DevOps and automation. And since they do have a cloud certification from IC2 also,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, this might be interesting in that area.
it counts towards like their level 1. The level 1 from the Cloud Security Alliance is partnered through IC2, but like their level 2, that's much harder. You have to go through the Cloud Security Alliance for that, so that's basically it. Before COVID hit and jumbled everything up, I was thinking of going that way. And it looks like I need to get the second edition off of Amazon because, like, my old book, Lincoln, it's already, toast. But yeah, there's a couple tools for that. Like they have DoD's already using it for, their stuff for Steel Cloud. But there's a few other tools for like doing stakes. The other tools I might have shown you might be more on the, you know, CCSP related area, but, since you're pretty much doing DoD and FedRAMP and, DevOps is becoming, even penetrating every organization. It doesn't matter whether it's DoD or not. Eventually, it's pretty much penetrating. But basically,
Yeah.
cloud security related.
Yeah. It's good to know about these tools. I appreciate the sidebar.
Hey, no problem. Because, like as I said, even as like a former small business owner, I'm just saying NT Lite. I've even used it during WannaCry. So I had to basically show some poor SOB bastards how to patch their golden image with it. They're like, well, how do we fix our images? I said, for right now, the malware won't detonate if I integrate the patch. You can then basically open up the WIM and mount it to a disk and then scrub out the piece of malware and then close your WIM and save it after pruning the virus away. At first, I have to keep it from detonating so you can get your servers back. So I had to show them how to use it to patch their systems and then basically deploy. Basically rebuild their USB key and start, going around and rebuilding it because even their backups were infested at 6 months, because WannaCry had quietly hit all of these healthcare facilities like 6 or 9 months in advance and just sat there like a time bomb. Yeah, I'm not, our friends at the Equation Group in Doesn't Exist, Virginia, and stuff that got leaked out of Snowden's tilt as far as being existing, people figuring out who's responsible for it, and then everybody on the planet trying to reverse engineering it. I pretty much was able to get the toolkit out of that. Antivirus groups were seeing it, then it pretty much got leaked and reversed from the samples that our friends at Doesn't Exist Virginia left running in the wild. So, sometimes you wish that they would have put self-destruct code in their toys, so they police their brass. If you're going to go shoot off a Desert Eagle at the Russians, sometimes you might want to pick up the shell casings. Just saying. So,
Michael, you'd asked us yesterday to go and take some practice tests.
yep, trying to see where your weaknesses are.
Yeah, I think the one on the Sprintzeal site, I took the first one. The I had were on the risk analysis and the Wi-Fi protocols. So I guess we're going to get to those eventually, but just that's where I missed the most questions. Didn't do too badly on the practice test, but those are my weak points.
I didn't know that they've added the Wi-Fi protocols in there, but it's like for like a lot of secure design, that's been rather.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what's the fastest Wi-Fi protocol? Here's, 802.11 G 802.11n1, 802.11a, what, and some other ones that don't exist. That's the kind of question that I missed.
Yeah, the risk analysis framework, uh, I I can look at it right quick and I can pull up the overview slide because I'd kind of gone through that. It's like wow, that's their slide, and it was like super missing. Official practice tests, nope. It's like I can figure out which module it's in to try and kind of go over it. So I just basically, it's like here's their outline. Domain one is basically going to be your risk management type of frameworks. It's usually going to be like business impact analysis, develop and document and scope planning. Basically, if you've ever STIG systems or basically had initial requirements for DoD, it's like, hey, what does the system require to run? You know, what's the scoping? What's the documentation for it, etc. So, it's basically that. And then, some like that's the other reason why the DoD was, is hesitant on doing laptops, even though that like bring your own device and then having like a CAC card and other stuff onto it, would be fairly simple to have like unclassified laptop that can reach classified resources because then, if the user is made to carry that card in their wallet, or a YubiKey on their keychain, as well as a CAC card and like biometrics, fingerprint reader and stuff like that. Basically, if the laptop's stolen, there's nothing of value on the system at all. Because that's basically their business impact analysis if someone steals the laptop and then eventually decrypts the hard drive. They can get all access to all those secrets. The point of just a nebulous, Dell encrypted laptop with with a basic level of BitLocker and just like any other corporate laptop that has nothing interesting on it and no not much storage space and just enough there to boot and for the user to do their workload and or connect to like a secure cloud infrastructure and run like a Citrix or FedRAMP Amazon, desktop. If the laptop's gone, then basically the cost of the laptop is pretty much what's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Any data and stuff like that, it's like where I used to live, like they had a secure cloud storage.
Yeah, I think the part that I was trying to get to was the risk management concepts, the process described in 1.10 on that page, which is, what are the actual steps for going through a risk analysis? Is that something you could walk us through?
Usually like in the civilian side of things, the risk analysis is based on a weighted copy. Because, at the end of the day, say your boss gives you $100,000. I'm just saying, say your boss gives you $100,000, you're at Joe Schmo's startup, you're a growing company, about ready to make $1 billion, the first $1 billion ever this year, et cetera, et cetera. Boss gives you $200,000 for your IT budget. So at the end of the day,